Hey foodie friends, welcome back to Getting Saucy with Chef Lynn. Today we're going to make an amazing take on Tres Leches Cake. So I made a Tres Leches Cake about 2 weeks ago for a party that I catered, and it was super delicious. And then I thought, how can I make this even better? And I said to myself, well, you gotta do a Piña Colada Tres Leches Cake. So that's what we're gonna do today. Now let's get saucy.
I already preheated the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and sprayed a 9x13 pan with baking spray.
So I'm just going to separate my last egg here. I have 5 eggs.
We're just going to separate the whites from the yolks. Be very careful when doing this because if you get even a little bit of yolk in the whites, it won't whip up and your meringue won't work, and you need that to be light and fluffy to give the lift to the cake. To our egg yolks, we'll add 1 cup of sugar and beat those until they are light in color, and when you lift out the whisk or beaters, it falls off in a ribbon.
Just gonna use the whisk attachment to get these going. They're gonna start to foam up a bit, and once they start to get a little frothy, we'll bump the speed up and then we'll slowly add in our sugar.
Now that the egg whites are frothy, we will slowly add in the sugar and beat the sugar and egg whites until it gets glossy and holds stiff peaks. This will take about 3 minutes. Be careful not to overbeat as the meringue will split.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to our egg yolks and sugar, we're going to add half a cup of milk and twist that in to thin that out.
In another bowl, combine flour, baking powder, and salt. Whisk that together and then add to the egg yolk mixture.
Get that nice and incorporated. You don't want to overmix because, as we know, when you overmix flour in anything, you're going to work in the gluten, and you don't want that in a cake because you want the cake to be tender and soft and delicious. To our egg yolk, flour, and sugar mixture, we are going to fold in our egg whites. What we're going to do, like I said, we're going to take our egg whites, and we're going to take about a third to a half of it, and we're just going to go in here and go from the bottom up and mix this in. And this is going to lighten everything up. It's going to become super airy. This batter that looked like it was way too thick before is going to thin out and become a delicious, amazing cake batter.
Well, I don't know, David. You just fold it in.
Alright, so once you don't see any more white streaks in your batter, you are good.
Okay, so we'll spread this evenly into our 9x13 pan. I just made a little bit of a mess on my counter. I do it all the time. So now it'll go into the oven at 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes or until a tester goes in the center and comes out clean.
Alright, so what we have here is our soak for the cake. And that, for me, is 1 can of sweetened condensed coconut milk, 2/3 of a cup of heavy cream. I like the added richness that the heavy cream gives. You could use whole milk for that, totally fine, whatever you want. And then in place of evaporated milk, I use 1.5 cups of Piña Colada mix. And then, because I'm a ding-dong and forgot to put the vanilla in the cake, I went ahead and added the vanilla into this. So when you make the cake, you're supposed to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla into the batter. I don't know what happened in my head, but I forgot, and so it's in here, totally fine. We're going to soak this into the cake. The flavor is going to be just as good.
The cake is finished baking, and you can see it's nice and golden on the top and around the edges. So I'm going to take 2 skewers, but you could use a fork to do this, and just poke a bunch of holes all over the top so we can let that syrup soak right in. Now we're going to slowly pour the syrup all over the cake, making sure it gets in the holes and all down the sides. It may look like this is too much, but trust me, this cake is going to absorb it all. Okay, so now I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap and pop it in the fridge for minimum 1 hour and probably more like 3 or 4, just so it can really absorb all that syrup, and then we will get it out and finish it.
So the cake was done and left in the refrigerator for a few hours to soak up all that sauce. You can see how it really soaked everything up. And here it is. Foodie friends, this is going to be so good. I made whipped cream for it and put that on top, and some toasted coconut to kind of play along with that Piña Colada flavor. So this is our finished product, and can't wait to give it a taste. Foodie friends, look at that. It looks so good. I did this little pineapple compote. There's going to be a short for how to do that later on. But cake is so soft. Look at, it's just like that pineapple sauce, that coconut topping. Oh my god, it's like heaven, guys. It's so delicious. It's like soft and all that flavor from the coconut cream and the Piña Colada mix, the pineapple, the crunch from that toasted coconut. You guys need to make this. I guarantee you're gonna love it. I'll check the description box below for a link to the full written recipe on my website. And as always, thanks so much for joining me on Getting Saucy with Chef Lynn. I'll see you guys next time. So good.